It will be available for anyone afterwards if you'd like this recording to review after today, or you know of someone else that would benefit from this workshop. Just let me know, and I'm happy to get you that recording, or get you that whoever needs to be registered and taken care of. But thank you for joining us today for our workshop. This is the kickoff workshop for our spring workshop series this year. And the kickoff series is going to be on digital marketing, led by Kyle Wright here. And I'll let him introduce himself in just a second here. But before we really dive in, I wanted to just give you a little background about Mission West as an organization. So, Mission West was founded here in Ronan in 1995, 94, somewhere in that region. But we've been here a long time now, and we're built up of four different departments within the organization. So we have the Food and Agricultural Development Center, which houses the Mission Mountain Food Enterprise Center in the back. That's a USDA approved shared use food processing facility. They help do food boxes and that program. They work with a lot of local food businesses and provide processing space or just market expertise, business expertise in that area in a wide variety of areas. So, great resource for any food businesses out there. We have our Cooperative Development Center, and they work with really businesses of all type and cooperatives at all levels, from startup to established cooperatives. And they work with them on governance and setting up bylaws and membership, and you name it, you think they will help with that cooperative side of things. Some of their notable clients they've worked with: the Ronan Cooperative Brewery here in Ronan, Glacier Processing up in Columbia Falls. They're working with the tribe on their new processing facility here. So they work with quite a pretty wide range of groups. They're working with a group in Idaho right now on an investing, which I think is a great idea. But so they're a great resource as well if you're ever curious about learning about the cooperative model at all. We have our Community Economic Development Center. That's probably, if you've heard anything about the Ronan Revitalization Program with the Chamber of Commerce, and that's the team here that is kind of working with the chamber and that steering committee and group that's working on that project. He works a lot with kind of businesses in all types of ways. He works in a lot of community development areas, so he'll work with, businesses that are interested in moving into the area, or if there are big community projects happening, walkability things like that. He's kind of the bridge between all of our departments in this building, or that department is. So definitely reach out if you have any projects you're thinking about there. And then we have our Business Development Center, and that's the group that's funding and hosting these workshops. We have an in-house loan department, and we provide a wide range of technical assistance to businesses at all levels. And we're here to help you succeed or get your business going or whatever it may be. But we have a wide range of services that are available to you there. And we have some grants here that pay for our workshop today. So just wanted to throw that all out there. But without further ado, I will turn it over to Kyle Wright, and he is going to take it away on our first workshop here in the spring series.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wes. And we always love hearing about the awesome work that you guys are doing at Mission West. And hopefully everybody's had a chance to check you guys out a little bit more and is in touch. And, it's really awesome with the work you guys do over there, and look to see more of it. So hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kyle Wright. Those of you that have come to the last few workshops about AI might be familiar with me, but if you're not, I run and own Celtic Winter Development. It's a digital marketing and small business consultant company that I have set up and have been running for the past 14 years or so. But today's session is all about your business right here in the Mission Valley or Western Montana, wherever you find yourself to be. And we're going to be focusing on practical elements that truly matter when potential customers or clients, whether they're local or tourists headed to like Flathead Lake or wherever, for where they look for your services online. You can, a lot of people look at a lot of viral trends or a lot of expensive, big things that you can hire out, like me and other agencies or so on. But but when your goal is to establish an online presence that clearly tells people this is the business for me, whether they're searching anywhere online, we're going to talk about some different ways that we can help you achieve that today. All right. So let's be honest. Most of you guys, business owners, didn't start your business to become marketers. You opened up your shops, restaurants, companies, farms, whatever it is, because you're good at what you do and because you have an interest in it. Not because you wanted to figure out what Facebook post to learn or what the heck SEO means. But in 2025, if people can't find you online, or they find something that looks outdated or confusing, they're going to go straight to your competitor or they're going to click right back out. Not because they're better at what they do, because they're easier to find. I know here in Mission Valley and word of mouth, or Western Montana specifically, word of mouth is still incredibly powerful. And it is an incredibly powerful marketing tool. But more and more people, even locals, are checking online first. And so today is going to be about making sure that when they do, that you're the one that they find and the one that they trust. So let me go ahead and pop this over here real quick. All right, so things that we're going to be covering today. We're going to take this workshop hour today and we're going to walk through 5 things. We're going to go through what digital marketing actually means for businesses in Mission Valley, what it actually is. We're going to be talking about how to make your Google business profile work for you and how to set one up if you don't have one. This is one of the most crucial things you can do on Google. And number 3, how to show up in local search, what matters most when it comes to showing up in local search results. And number 4, what your website really needs, what it doesn't. And then number 5, we're actually going to be doing a hands-on audit today to see how you show up right now when somebody searches for you. So if you don't have some of these tools set up, no problems. We're going to do it together to at least get you one simple thing that you can do. It'll take us maybe 5-10 minutes. We'll set it up, we'll review it, and it'll be the number one big thing. So at least you'll walk away with something tangible that'll be a big milestone if you don't already have this set up. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what exactly is digital marketing. And to kind of just riff on this a little bit, there's a lot of trends people see online and the courses and how to get rich quick and this and this and that. And so lately digital marketing has had kind of, I don't want to say a stigma around it, but people have this kind of romanticized or a different kind of idea of what it is. People think digital marketing and they think a way to make money online, something akin to work from home or something like that. But at the end of the day, what digital marketing really means, and this is what I tell people, all my clients all the time, I go, look, digital marketing is just a way to get online eyeballs on your business. Now, there's a lot of different strategies and what it means, and we're going to be going through those, like I said, but, and so it sounds complicated, but it's really just how people find you, learn about you, and decide whether to visit your store or call your business online. For a cafe on Main Street, it's how someone decides to stop in for lunch after checking your menu and hours. For a plumber, it's now a homeowner in Pablo that decides to call you instead of someone else when their pipe bursts. If you're a real estate agent, maybe, and, your brother-in-law, all of a sudden you find out he buys a house and you go, well, why didn't you use me as your realtor? And he goes, I used this other person because, well, I saw their thing pop up or I thought about them when I thought real estate agent. I think of digital marketing like the sign outside your door or your booth at Lake County Fair that says, if it's clear, inviting, and shows exactly what you offer, people will stop. If it's confusing or hard to find, they'll keep walking. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Google. It's difficult to have a conversation in the digital marketing space without spending a lot of time talking about Google and using their tools. We are entering a new age in which people talk a lot about, is SEO dead? Are people still searching on Google? And I'd be curious to know how many of you guys, the last time you wanted to know something, I want to take just a quick poll real fast, but the last time you wanted to know or check something, I'd be curious to know if you used Google or a search engine, or if you went to AI.
I used Google.
Google. Okay, we got one for Google. Anybody else want to input?
You have some Googles in the chat, 2 more Googles in the chat,
Okay.
another one, and then there is a question in the chat for you as well when you have some time.
Cool. All right, so we got a lot of Googles on here. This is good to know that AI hasn't completely taken over everybody's mind share, but we are starting to see some shifts there. And so that's why with all you guys saying Google, this is the point. We still Google things to and that's how we're finding our local results on who I should use. Let's hit that question. What do we got, Wes?
The question was, what if you don't have a brick and mortar store? Don't you need one to get on to Google Business?
That's a great question. You do not, actually. That used to be the case when Google was, there have been times when Google has needed that, and that would be the whole thing. I'm sure people are familiar with the postcard, mailing that in, getting the residential. When I worked for a loan company, we had a lot of different branches throughout, and it was an absolute nightmare to get that done. No, you absolutely not. I do not have a physical brick and mortar location. I have got my home office here and I do most of my consults online and I travel out to businesses, so on. No, that would be a services provider. So there's different categories of things that you can do, and we'll go over it a little bit more, like I said, when we go ahead and set it up. But no, the short answer to that is any kind of business that you are, whether it be selling goods online, having a store, you can still have, I guess there is an exception. Let's say that if I had an Etsy store, for example, and I only sold Etsy products online, I don't really have a physical location and I'm not offering anything in that realm unless I could be, there are ways around it, different strategies. So if once we get into that, if your business is the one where it kind of is an outlier, we can talk about some different ways to make that happen in order to utilize that so you're still showing up. Because it's not about, you want to think about it in terms of why it's useful. And why it's useful is because if somebody near me is searching for the thing that I'm offering, it should be able to be lined up and congruent that way. But if I'm just based here in Montana, but realistically I'm offering a worldwide service anywhere that I could be doing anywhere, then it would be less important for somebody local to be able to find me, unless I was then promoting my services locally and wanted people to take advantage of it. Maybe I've got everything that I do online in my store, but I've got a local version of that where I'm offering locals only discounts or things like that. Well, in that case, acting as that style of business, then it would be appropriate to use the Google page, for example, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Got any other questions? Looks like said, are people still using Google for basic Google, but now has AI response? Yeah, and that is true. One of the things that is important to look at is that Google is generating kind of AI responses based on the available data. But one way or another, the data that AI is using to return those responses at the top of the Google search is still pulling from the websites and the information. So they are still sharing information. And so it could be even more, even more important to get your Google information up to speed so that the AI serves up the correct response. If your location moves around, that's a great question, Joshua. If your location moves around, I'm assuming you mean like if you were some kind of food truck or something like that.
Be like farmers markets and maybe prime for a certain location.
Sure. What I think that with Google My Location or with Google My Business and that is we're really mostly looking, or they're mostly really looking at your primary location. If somebody wanted to come visit you at your home base, mostly where you based out of. That's really what the Google My Business is for. It's not showing up where you're going to be at any given point. That's up for you to decide how to share in your marketing strategy. Hey, followers on my Instagram and my Facebook, make sure to check out our pop-up on the corner of 9th and Pine on Saturday at 2, or we're going to be at the local fair, or we're going to be at the farmer's market, or this is where we'll be, kind of an update calendar. That's kind of a marketing responsibility of each of their own businesses, where the Google My Business profile is just making sure that the business information is being served up to the people that are searching for you so they have the relevant and true information. Think about the last time that, for example, I went and searched for a lawn aerator near me, and if you know somebody, send them my way because I'm going to need that soon. For example, so I pulled up and there's a couple of local lawn service companies that pop up, and one or two of them had the Google My Business profile, but say they don't. Or even better example is the Ronan Golf Course. If you go to their website, they say maybe they weren't open, and then you can call them and they change every day depending on the weather and how their greens are looking. But their Google My Business profile, it may not be accurate and updated. So if something's not serving up the correct information, it becomes more confusing. And the more confusing things are, they tend to keep you away. But for Joshua has the pepper farm and so on and so forth, your Google My Business profile would be for your, if you ended up with a storefront, or if you wanted people to be able to contact you for custom orders or things like that, those would be your normal business operating hours. Hey, normally, at any given point, where will I be when people are trying to get a hold of me for regular business? And that's kind of what that's going for. Rue's got a question. Should we put our office address for the Google My Business and just leave ours as closed? Well, it depends. Just like we were saying, when are you doing business? So here's a good example. I'll use my business. So people do not, I don't have my home address listed anywhere, but because people can contact me online. But I'm based out of here in St. Ignatius, and so you people can see that I'm local. And my operating hours, I think I have 10 to 4 right now. That doesn't always mean that I'm open and available. Maybe sometimes I'm available afterwards. My business is, I could be working all sorts of strange hours, and I like to accommodate different schedules to be able to meet with different people. Maybe they get off work and then they need a consultation later on after their regular 9 to 5. I accommodate for things like that. But that doesn't mean that that's my normal operating hours of 9 to 4. And so I'm trying to set expectations here with people on Google so they can know usually when I'll be available. But if they go and they find me and somebody wants to call me or send me an email asking the questions and they may be expecting a response, there's a better likelihood I'll be responding within that time frame. So once again, these systems aren't designed to be perfect or the absolute source of truth for all information all the time. But as far as regular information, this is regularly where I am. This is where I'm based out of. And roughly I'm doing times here. Like, you're not going to be able to get a hold of me on weekends. I'm not a realtor that does work on the weekends or whatever. Now, just because maybe I get an email in and respond every time to time, that may be my own prerogative. But my weekend's for myself, and that's what it says. If somebody comes looking for service from me on a weekend, Google My Business is going to tell them I'm not available. It's the same thing it looks like right here with what about a farm with off-site farmers market times? Well, that would be the example of that wouldn't be your normal regular business hours. That would be the event that you would then want to be blasting on social media. Hey, come find us at here. Or maybe it is your strategy to say, we're open on the weekends from this time to this time, and you got your phone and they can call you. But if you put offsite hours on the Google My Business profile, and then I go on and I see that, and I see your physical location as your farm, and then I show up during those hours and nobody's there, I'm going, oh, that was wrong. I guess they're not open. So you can kind of think, what would you expect when you went on to go, oh, look, that means they're open now. That's a little bit different than, oh, they're at the farmer's market. But once again, I would want my followers to let them know as they're following my story and my post, hey, make sure to come check us out at the farmer's market on Friday. This is where we'll be. Next week we'll be at this farmer's market, so on and so forth. Follow us around, kind of like, a band promoting their tour schedule or whatever. So normal business hours, that's kind of what the Google part is. With the Google My Business is traditional. This is kind of what we do and how you can find us. And then any kind of details and changes, anything outside that norm is really where social media and your specialty hours in marketing and whatever, that's where that kind of comes into play. Great question, guys. So here's an example. This is actually what the Google business profile looks like. I'm sure many of you have seen it. Going over to the right thing, let me just make sure which slide I'm. Okay. So here's something you may not realize. Before people visit your website or drive to your location, most everybody is going to see what's on the Google business profile first. As we can see, we got Mission West Community Development Partners. I'm sure everybody's seen this when they've pulled up a Google search, the little part off to the right, where it gives the address, the phone, the hours. So when we talk about Google Business Profile, this is what we're talking about right here. This information shows up on Google Maps when somebody searches your business. This is your digital storefront window. It's where people check if you're open, read what others have said about you. This is where you post reviews, get directions, or even tap to call you. So many people don't even ever get to your website. I mean, if you think about how many times you've gone on and searched, you've been on vacation, pizza near me or whatever, you want to see if they're open. You don't even go to their website now. You can click the button that goes to their website, but you can call them, get directions, get reviews, look at their menu, everything right from there. It really is the window into your front. And for a business here in Mission Valley, this is especially important, whether it's a local person looking for your hours or a visitor from out of town that's trying to find you. This is going to be their first impression. And like I said, if that profile is missing or outdated, it's like you having a maybe open sign on your door, and that's not going to be good for business. Let's see here. No other questions there? Perfect. All right, so some different things that you can do right now. And like I said, we'll be going in and doing this little hands-on workshop here in a little bit. But how to optimize your Google business profile. So let's make sure that that profile works hard for your business. Here's your checklist. Are your hours accurate, including any seasonal changes or special hours during local events? So like we said, there are some different ways that we can associate those in there. I just don't want people thinking about them as, oh, well, sometimes at the farmer's market, so I put them under my normal business hours. But especially updating it regularly. Also, have you chosen the right business category? Restaurant is way too general. Pizza restaurant actually is going to be specific. It all comes down to matching up what people are searching for. There's no magic catch-all, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in SEO, because people will ask, well, what should I put? What's the best one? Well, the best one is what's most accurately represents your business. Accuracy is kind of the engine in which all the search results and kind of everything that we've seen served up on the internet over the past 20 plus years is really operates. It's all about relevancy. There would be no point to get you to something that isn't what you wanted. Same result, if we think about gaming the system, if you're out cruising, you're on a road trip and you're passing through, a medium-sized town and you start searching restaurants near me. Well, if I were to game the system and just create traffic to this one person's website, let's say I'm working for this company out in Sarasota, anywhere, and I can drive traffic, I can get people to results, I can come up with the most amazing marketing ideas of all time. Free offer if you click on here and blah, 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 and everybody's checking out the website. It's great. But when they show up, it's not, let's say, they choose this one restaurant and it looks amazing. It's got all this good stuff. But you get there, you get to this restaurant and you're hungry, and it's actually a museum about restaurants. I imagine nobody's really super happy about it. They have no food there. That's not why we were going there. Well, but we keyword matched restaurant, or, we had a whole bunch of these things on our, we got them there. One way or another, the best result is something that accurately represents your business. Because all the attention and clickbaits and gimmicks in the world are not going to get somebody to stick around and engage and actually purchase from you if they feel tricked or if it doesn't line up to what they were expecting. But if you can present exactly what you are and who you are, how you are, and people have those expectations without being misled, that's where your conversions come in. Things like, do you have recent photos of your space, your products, or your team? People love seeing what they're walking into, and you can imagine it too. Anything that has just the big gray box or some kind of generic picture, you're going, well, that feels less or cheap or whatever. But somebody that's taken the time to actually put up real photos of their business.
May I speak with Greg and Derry, please?
1 moment.
Thank you.
Anybody that's had the ability to do that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Is you're going on and you're looking and you're saying, hey, wow, I can really see the building. I know what it's going to look like when I get there. And this is the people I'm going to be interacting with. Or here's pictures of the food. People cared enough to put on representations of their business, and it's lining up with what they are. I know what to expect. Another big part is, are you responding to your reviews, even the less flattering one? Thoughtful response to a negative review can actually win you more customers. Maybe you had the person with the bad experience. We've all seen those stories where they came above and beyond and made it right. Well, that showcases that a business cares, and then that increases engagement. All these different psychological factors on how we look at things. It's a simple litmus test. How do I feel when I go out and look at a business and how they respond and treat their customers and how they represent themselves? And we apply that to our own businesses, becomes really very simple. And then the last thing right here is, are you posting occasional updates, like a special promotion or when you're participating in a community event? These are some of the things that we really see as big drivers, is fresh, updated content. It shows the lights are on. It shows somebody's still home, and it shows that somebody is actively ready to engage. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's move on here and jump into see if there's any messages. All right. So Rue is saying, so if I'm at the farmer's market every Saturday, then should I put the farmer's market address? No, your business is not the farmer's market. That is, frankly put, that is not your business. Unless you are the farmer's market, then absolutely you should put the business. But it's not tracking this. Google My Business is not supposed to track where you are at any given point. Once again, it's where you are established, where your home base is, where you do business from. That it's like, you would honestly put Google also profile does not accept PO boxes, so it's looking for your address. If they want to send you mail or where are you based out of? In other words, think about it, it's really simple. What's on your business license? At the end of the day, I think that's probably the quickest and easiest way to go. You're not putting the farmer's market on your business license. You're putting your address. So that's what Google profile wants, is where your business is established. And Anna says, can you put multiple categories? There are a couple of different ways we can do that. And absolutely, we'll go through some of those category examples when we do our hands-on audit. That's a great one. And Katie says, I'm also wondering how to navigate this. Our farm is not open to the public and all of once again, Katie, we will pause that part for the hands-on audit. And I'm excited that you brought a good one because I think we're going to have a lot of fun setting this up when we actually go and do this in the hands-on section. I always love when we get our participants that are engaging and come with real world scenarios so that this isn't all hypothetical. So we'll put a pin in that. I got it down here. Let me just write this down so we don't forget. Great. All right. Kind of use that as our use case. That's going to be a fun one. All right, so let's talk a little bit about SEO. And what the heck is SEO anyway? We'll just stay down here for a minute. Okay, so SEO in a nutshell is, and I get asked this question all the time. I get a couple of, what is it? How do I improve it? Is it good for me? So on. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but realistically, SEO stands for search engine optimization. It essentially means that when somebody types in something on Google, where are you in the ranking of how high are you coming up? So if I am down in Missoula and I type in Cadillac near me, I would expect to see some Cadillac dealerships, maybe some Cadillac repair shops, so on and so forth. But the Cadillac website would probably pop up and then with some of their local versions, etc. And there might be some articles on Cadillac further down. But realistically, the top examples, you can imagine what they're going to be. They're going to be the highest ranked results for when we type in a specific keyword. In this case, it was Cadillac. So Google has decided that these are the websites that are most relevant to what I'm searching for. And that's what we call ranking in SEO. So SEO doesn't magically make more people show up to your thing. It's, you can't think of it as a net that brings in people that are actively searching for it. So if people aren't searching for what you do, then SEO is not really going to do any good. SEO is directly related to how high up and relevant in the search results are you when anybody types for anything specific. Now, there's a couple of strategies that you can go down in the road on SEO, and there's all sorts of different thoughts these days, but essentially put, there's a lot of different keyword strategies and so on and so forth. I like to talk about the organic keyword strategy, which essentially says that rather than trying to trick the SEO game or the algorithm or trying to do any of these things, I go back to aligning things to what they are. If you write really good content on your website that describes who you are, is in your voice, and really represents you well, and doesn't make all these different promises and whatever or sound like everybody else, and it's unique in your own style, that's interesting and engaging. And that's what people really look for these days. Go on Google sometime and just try out searching for some different things and see what starts to show up. And you'll start to notice these trends that a lot of the search results are starting to look the same. And this really, I've talked about this in the AI course a little bit, but you can imagine that if I go into Google or go into ChatGPT and I say, hey, I need some content for my website. I need it good for SEO for these keywords. For me, it might be, I need a website near me, or digital marketing near me, or digital marketing, or there's a couple of different keywords that I might be trying to chase. For example, with Mission West, we're looking for business help near me. We're looking for business grants, business loan opportunities, etc. Things that people might be searching that they were really looking for Mission West and what they can do and how they can. So once again, the unique information and helping you stand out rather than going into ChatGPT and having it come up with a kind of a generic response. Well, if everybody has that same response all the way down because they're all optimized for SEO, well, then it's fine and it's good. But it's all about why. Why are we doing this? Well, we want to be relevant to what somebody's looking for. And if you think about what would it work for you when you're searching, would I click on that? Or does that just look like another boring X? These are kind of the things that you'll start to think about. Once again, the litmus test of would I engage with that? What do I click with that? And then just going through, just practice, just go through online, just do a surfing session on Google and just see what you're drawn to and what not to, and just kind of experience that a little bit more. And that's a really good way to go. Is my content the right kind of people that will engage thing, or does it just look generic? So once again, SEO in a nutshell is all about Google's serving up relevant results to what people are searching for. And my personal methodology is that the more authentic and non-generic it is, while being relevant and not making any promises or pretending to be anything it's not, at the end of the day, Google will reward that. So let's talk a little bit about, like I said, some of the other things that Google rewards. So especially in local SEO. Let me just pull up here a little quick. All right, so a little bit, actually, something else I wanted to talk about here with the SEO is let's talk about how people find you when they search for what you offer. People are not typing in your business name. When somebody types hardware stores me or best pizza in Ronan, that's what they're doing. They're using local search. And so for businesses here in the Mission Valley, local SEO is the very best friend that you can have. It doesn't require a big budget. Just a smart setup. Once again, you need some of the three things you need for working together. The right description for what you offer, your location is clearly stated, and then consistent information everywhere you run or everywhere online. Your name, address, phone number should match exactly your website, Facebook, etc. When all these things are matching, that's also a sign of trust. So here's a quick tips specifically for our area. Make sure you mention the nearby landmarks or communities you serve, like serving Ronan Pablo in the Mission area or located near the junction of Highway 90 through Main Street. All these little tips and tricks definitely help you sound and look local. All right, things that, like I said, that Google rewards for local SEO. And by rewarding, what I mean is ranking you higher on the search results. Google likes mobile-friendly websites. It'd be interesting to see anybody's website analytics, but what I tend to find across the board, and there are exceptions, of course, but on average, I would say 60 to 70% of your traffic is coming from phone. I'm sure nobody's really surprised by that. These days, we all expect, our phone to be able to have a website that looks like it was made for websites. But how many times have you gone to a website and the page is off on the phone and you have to do all these things and you go, what the heck? How do they not have a phone website for this? And then you're probably gone. Probably back out if a business can't create, it just, things like that start to feel scammery or whatever in these days. So mobile-friendly websites. Fast load speed. This is something called technical SEO. I'm sure we've been to websites that are really slow. Google penalizes that. They're not going to serve up or recommend a website that takes its time loading and is just built like that with a lot of slow resources. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can actually speed up your website. To get deeper into those, that would be something that I would recommend booking a consultation with yours truly on. Or you can honestly, use AI and the internet these days. There's a lot of really simple things you can do, like making sure that your website goes faster. But 9 times out of 10, what I see is people using really high quality, big images on their website. Now, I'm not saying use crappy photos. What I am saying is when you take a photo and you upload it somewhere and then you just drag it up onto the website, as sure, we've all done, you may not realize how big of a file that is. And so compressing images and making sure that we're serving up web-ready images is the number one thing that I can do. If your website's slow, it probably means that every time then that the website's loading up, it's trying to load up a whole bunch of photos that are really large. And there are ways to fix that, including image compression and page caching and some different things like that. But once again, as you're examining your own site, you want to be putting together a list of these things as well. All right, is my website mobile friendly? Is it loading fast? And then the last thing, like I said, is my information matching across all my listings? If I've updated my address, or am I using multiple phone numbers or different emails? Brand consistency and contact information consistency across the board. All right, looks like we have another, it says Google, or question here. It says, if Google requires an address, but you don't have a storefront and you can't use your PO box, how do you get around that? Well, once again, and we'll go through this a little bit more here, but for that, so that's my business right here. It's my home address. And it's whatever you put on your business. When you went on and you filed a business with the state of Montana and you've got your DBA or your LLC or whatever it is, they asked you for an address as well. Maybe you were able to put your PO box, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think you can either on that. That'd be something that Wes would probably know a little bit more on. But it'd be your home address. It wants the address that where you are running this business out of. I'd have to do a little bit more research to find out exactly why. There's probably a couple of different reasons, maybe tax implications, just making sure that I mean, a lot of it has to do with security. These anonymity businesses, that's how a lot of, scammer profiles would work, of being able to set up a fake business that was never verified in some location that doesn't exist and pretend to be real while, that was near you. No, they want to actually verify that you've got presence here. Because they're going to be wanting to send you mail and the verification and everything else as well to make sure that you are a real person. Now, in PO Box, that like there's a lot of non-security that can happen with that. But for example, here down in St. Ignatius, I have a PO Box. I don't really have a mailing address, but the post office has directed us down here to, I got my address, and then number 864 would be my PO box is attached there. So they can still send me mail, but they have to know that I have a real location. I'm really here. And that becomes the whole point. I honestly think it mostly has to do with security and for people not being able to just set up fraudulent businesses so that with the pretense of being local, because those tend to be trusted a little bit more. We see this pop up in some of the local Facebook groups for services and things like that all the time. There's always some kind of duct cleaning company or some kind of thing that pops up as the local scam guy that pretends like he's been here for a while. And I'm sure anybody that's ever been on Facebook and some of our community things have seen some of these. So, all right, let's go ahead and go on here. The biggest question is matching up keywords with the most popular keywords people are searching for. I'm going to offer holistic health and wellness, nutrition, health coaching services. So choosing keywords between these things, how do I find what people are searching for? Great question. I don't have anything baked in this presentation about choosing the right keyword. I really could probably stand up here for 3 days and just riff on everything that I know and my opinions on digital marketing, so on and so forth. So we really just tried to cover some of the high level basics. I will tell you right now, that is its own skill level, is doing that research or its own skill set is keyword research. A Google search for how do I perform good keyword research, or even asking AI. AI is really good at it as well. Really quickly, to answer this question, what I'll say is I like to go on Google Trends. Google Trends is a really good way to see what people are searching for. And anything related they're searching for. I also extensively use Google Search Profile. It's hooked up to analytics. If you don't have it set up, that's something that maybe we'll do a workshop at some point around deeper analytics, or you can book a consultation for me. I offer services in that realm for advanced analytics setup and keyword research and all kind of those kind of things as well. But I mean, there are a bunch of different ways to do it, but give it a shot. If you've got access to AI, that would probably, or ChatGPT, give that a whirl first. Maybe it's not always going to be your most relevant or the best use case scenario, but it's going to give you a start to kind of, I find examples tend to help. And so if you kind of ask it that question, it's going to kind of give you some suggestions. But then Google Trends, like I said, Google Trends is the other one that is a good one. But then there's also let me think. Google Keyword Planner is actually the ultimate tool you can be using as well. You can put in what your target is, and it can suggest different keywords, and then you can analyze some of the different ones that are available to you, see what some of the competition is out there. Because, for example, maybe everybody's searching for local bread near me or whatever. But if the big bakery has a monopoly on that and it'd be really difficult to compete with them, maybe I'm choosing more of a niche keyword that less people are searching for, but I'm not going to have to be competing with these other. So there's a lot of different strategies. We could do a whole nother workshop just on keyword research. But at the end of the day, utilize AI for right now. Get a hold of me. We can run a consultation if I'm always available for that, as well as using the keyword planner. And there are some other great tools out there like SEMrush, Mozilla, TreeFrog. Those are my top favorite 3. These are all different ways to track your campaigns and get really into the nitty gritty of it. But yeah, that becomes the ultimate question. How do I know what are the keywords on there? So health, wellness. But I mean, even just thinking about it, what are people going to be searching for? It's like, what would you search for if you wanted to find what you're offering? What Google search would you type in? And at the end of the day, that's probably the simplest. Right. We'll keep yeah, absolutely. No problem. Keep the questions coming. We love them. Okay, so let me just make sure here that I don't have... Okay, I did want to skip ahead and talk about the website for real quick for a minute, and then I wanted to, we'll end the day going through our last 13, 14 minutes, so on, with actually doing the audit, because I'd really want to make sure that those of you that haven't set that up do, and those of you that have, let's make sure that it's accurate. All right, so one of the last things on digital marketing, we were talking about your website. Website 101 for small business. So your website doesn't need all the bells and whistles of big corporate sites, but it does need a couple of things. What it does need to do, it needs to load quickly, especially, we talked about this before, especially important with our sometimes spotty internet coverage in parts of the country. It needs to look good on a phone because that's how most people are going to see it. And it needs to clearly tell people what you do, where you are, and how to reach you. And then there's another big part that I always talk about. There's calls to action. There's so many websites out there that have all the web information in the world, but they don't prompt you to do anything. There's screaming into the void, and then there's challenging somebody to do something. You know, the most important, what do you want somebody to do first? Call you, visit your store, make a reservation, order online. That action should be extremely obvious. A big button that says call now or get directions front and center. If you run a fishing guide service on Flathead Lake, book now should be impossible to miss. And honestly, it's so interesting how many times you'll go on a website and you'll go, well, here's all this information, but I'm not being steered to do anything. And it's one of the biggest things we talk about in conversions and digital marketing. Like I said, I can get all the traffic to your site at the end of the world, or in the world, but if I haven't sent 1 million visitors to your website, but everybody's only there for 5 seconds and doesn't do anything, then what's the point? You don't want traffic on your website. You want conversions. You want people to do the thing that you want them to do. All right, and then I want to talk about, we did talk about keywords a little bit. So with keywords, like I said before, just to touch on this a little bit more because I put this slide together, is keywords help Google understand what your business is about. Focus on what people would actually search for, not jargon, including your location and natural placement on your website and your Google profile. Like I said, think like a customer. What would you type into Google? Some common mistakes that are made that we see all the time. Worked with a lot of businesses, and the most common problems I see, the business hasn't claimed or updated their Google business profile. The website looks great on a computer, but it's frustrating to use on the phone. They have great reviews, but they never respond to reviews. Their website has no clear steps on next steps for customers to take. And they're trying to maintain accounts on every social platform instead of using one or two that really matter for their business. Remember, you don't need to be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You just need to be present and respond where your customers actually look for businesses like yours. And then, we'll come back to this. So, I actually do this, take a time. We got 10 minutes here. I'm going to talk about these 5 quick wins, and then we're just going to do the hands-on here. All right, so 5 things that you can do this week. And I think one of those or 2 of those we're going to do right now. So number 1, claim or update your business Google business profile. And I can stay on a bit longer than this thing if we have a few people that still need help with it or a little bit more hands-on. Happy to help here with that. Number 2, add 3 new high-quality compressed photos of your business, products, or happy customers. Number 3, respond to 3 most recent customer reviews with a personal touch. I'm going to pop in one more thing that I forgot to mention on here, but I have to say something about this. Do not make up reviews. Do not make up reviews. Cool Fishing Guy 68 dad that talks about, wow, this business was really great and understood exactly what I needed. You're not fooling anybody. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. I clearly don't feel passionate about that or anything. Number 4, check how your website looks and functions on your phone. Make sure you know what people are seeing. And then number 5, add a clear call now or get directions or engagement, something like that, button to your website. These 5 steps might take you about an hour total, but I can promise you, if you don't have these done, they will make a huge difference in how many new customers find you this summer season. At the end of the day, there's a million tricks and things out there that people have, and they're great for optimizing or getting those last little bits. But I promise you that adjusting this one little thing for the analytical trend of blah, 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 that sounds really cool that your friend from somebody saw on a thing somewhere on that forum one time, it's getting to that point. If you can't even or if not even doing the basics, your foundation needs to be set up for success. I saw a video this little while ago about this. Tiger Woods is talking about his golf ball, and he's hitting a quarter fraction of an inch back when he wants to draw whatever, and this guy pops up and goes, look, he's not talking to you. I promise you, is that honing down on your slice or your draw or whatever in golf and trying to get that little precision thing, you could do it all day. But if you can't even strike the ball well, working on advanced techniques is not for you. So you've got to have a platform that has the ability to convert, the ability to do things, and the ability to handle that. All right, so without further ado, actually, let's get anybody questions. And then we are going to go ahead and jump into the bit. So, as well, you guys are all going to receive an email sometime over the next few days with a copy of the slide here so that you can get the tips and tricks and so on. I will also be creating and sending out a little kind of one-page flyer for digital marketing strategies, top-level tips and tricks, the things that we've gone over. So if anybody wasn't taking notes, we'll be able to send those out as well. And then in workshop number 2, next Thursday, we're going to be going over some more social media strategies that make sense for your small businesses. And so I would really like to, if anybody has things that they want to talk about, challenges they're trying to overcome or things like that, we could honestly make next week's session a little bit more hands-on with some local use cases, but we will be talking about some more advanced strategies. So first off, any questions besides this? Can we reviews from other sources? I see what you're saying. Like if you got some Shopify, it's on there. I would say no. And the reason for this is because on Google specifically, you actually have to log in. So in other words, you would have to create a new Google profile or a Google account, like a new Gmail, and name it something that wasn't you to post this review. You didn't get that review on Google Reviews. You got that review on Shopify. Now, on your website, having a review section that pulls in reviews from all the different places, awesome, great strategy. Would love to do that. But yeah, it really is. Let Google Reviews be Google. Once again, let it be authentic. If you got the review on Google, that means that was a Google review. If you got a Shopify review, that's a Shopify review. Let things be what they are and don't try to turn things into anything else. All right. Other questions? All right. Not seeing any pop up. All right. Then let's do this. Let me go ahead here and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we are going to pull up. Let's just do a Google My Business. All right, so I'm going to have everybody go ahead and pull up there. You can do it on your computer, your phone, whatever it is. And I'm not sharing my screen. That would probably be helpful. Here, we are going to share. Yep. All right, everybody can see. So, go ahead and navigate. Also, the easiest way to do it, just do a Google search. Or you can go to business.google.com. But you're looking for a page like this. It says stand out on Google with a free business profile. And we're going to go ahead and click get started here. This is what we're going to start doing. Start building your business profile. And I'm going to come up with a really generic one for the sake of walking through this for you. We're going to go Mission Valley Business. And we are going to create a business with that name. Now, maybe your business pops up here because you've done something before. Maybe you haven't. But Mission Valley Business. Actually, let's do Mission Valley Restaurant. So our business category, I'm going to start typing, maybe I'm a pizza delivery restaurant. I see takeaway. We got a whole bunch of different kind of things on here. So start getting creative when you start thinking about it. So we look at like say a pizza delivery, we can change and add more later. We're going to do pizza delivery for right now. And here's the question a lot of people were asking for. Do you want to add a location customers can visit like a store or office? I'm going to say yes, because I'm a pizza place and my location will show up. And then this is where it's asking for the business address, at a location where people can enter your business in person. Now, let's go back and we're going to do, let's say this is a pizza business that doesn't actually sell pizza. We just offer pizza services. I don't know why you would, but that's okay. Where do you serve your customers? So this is what it's asking here. This is at areas where your business provides deliveries or home office visits. This will appear on your services. I don't even have to put a place on there. Maybe I serve everywhere, like I said. So, now that being said, if I don't put a location, well, then I'm probably I'm not showing up to my local clients, which it all depends on what your kind of business is. There's no one way to do any of this. So what region is your based in? I'm based in the United States. Next, how people, so put in my phone number, put in a website if I have it. All right, it's going to pop in here. Please verify your mailing address. So P.O. boxes are not eligible, like we said. You can always verify later if you'd like. Adding your business hours, like I said, letting your customers know where you're open for business. And this talks about it a little bit more. It talks about, no, this doesn't talk about why. This just talks about what it is. Okay. So Monday, open at, like I said, these are your regular business hours, your dining modes, takeout, customer to drive through, delivery, no contact delivery. These might be some different dining modes based on the kind of business that you put on there. Business description. This is going to let people know about what you are, what you do. This is going to pop up. It'd be really easy to just come up with something simple here. And once again, I've talked about this in the past. Generative AI is really good at helping you get started on this, kind of tell it about your business, have it write something up. You can go through and edit it a little bit, but adding the description of your business is going to be incredibly important. Good photos, not using stock photos, also incredibly important. That's where you'd add them here. Maybe add photos of your dishes. This is popping up because I told it I was a restaurant. And then, of course, it's always going to talk about claiming your $1,000 advertising credit. Google's been doing this for a long time. Essentially, they do ad credit matching up when you spend X amount, things like that. Google Ads are their own animal. If anybody's curious about them, wants to engage with them, get in touch with me. I can talk to you about setting up a Google Ads strategy. Either it's something I can do, you can do, or talking about if you even need it. I find there's so many other more effective methods to get started. But if you're trying to get over a hump and increase business and you've already kind of done everything you can, and you're just looking to get out there a little bit more, ads can be a great thing to do, but I think a lot of people rely on them too much. And then your edits will be visible once you're verified. Your verification comes in the form of them mailing you out the card like we talked about and being able to do that. And you're good to go. And it says my business is not visible to customers. I'm going to have to go on and delete that because it's not a real business and it says not publicly available. But there you go. So let's see if we've got any other questions here. Can you change the category if you set it up wrong? Yes, you can. In fact, and like I said, depending on the business type, like if I'm doing services and I'm a marketing agency, so on, you can add a couple of different categories that best fit what you do. Katie says, I'm also wondering how to navigate this. Our farm is not open to the public and all of our attraction happen offline. So, Katie, if you want to hang out a little bit longer afterwards here, we can actually kind of just look at it together, maybe a little bit. It sounds like maybe we can just let's get that hammered down for you. And then Katie Hensley says, my biggest question is matching up keywords with the most popular keywords people are searching for. Oh, wait, no, we already did that one before. Oh, I'm just too high up. Okay, let me go. Let me do this. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amy, for popping in. Good luck on updating your Google business pages. We got a couple people. Josh, thank you for the information. Awesome. Very excited for you to tour that kitchen, Josh. I was just up there yesterday, and I think you are going to like it. The people over there running the kitchen are fantastic, and this is why they do what they do. All right. So yeah, if anybody wants to stick around and needs a little extra help getting their business, Google My Business profile with some of those hours, some of these little tricky questions, I'm just going to kind of hang around. So feel free to pop off mute. But if anybody else has any little questions before we go, thank you everybody for popping in today. We appreciate it. Make sure to check out Mission West. And if you liked what you saw, give us a follow and a like on Instagram and Facebook. Share out the details for our next workshops are coming up and help us spread the word about all the awesome things that Mission West is doing for the community. We do it for you guys, and you guys are the ones that help us get the word out. So thanks again for joining, and feel free to reach out to us with any other questions. Wes?
Oh, that's it. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we see you next week and for the remainder of the workshops that we have scheduled this spring. And I will be emailing out a short survey to all of you sometime today. We love to get your feedback. It just helps us fine-tune things in the future and make sure we're continuing to provide great information for you. But thank you, and if you have any questions, stick on, and Kyle will be here for a few more minutes for you.
Your story.